Back here in Washington, about 100 or so people pardoned in the January 6th Capitol attack say they want to now see more from the Trump administration 5 years to the day after January 6th, 2021. Here's former Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio sounding like he's calling for revenge. Listen to this.
I don't want any violence to happen to those people that perpetrated these crimes against humanity, against Americans. But I want them to pay.
That's right.
They made an example out of us,
That's right.
and we need to make an example out of them.
Remember, the president pardoned some 1,600 rioters on his first day in office. And talking today with congressional Republicans, you see him there. This was like this meeting that he had. He's now rewriting history. He's trying to rewrite what happened on the 5-year anniversary of this attack by repeating the lie that was central to this riot in the first place, that the 2020 election was stolen. It was not.
Our elections are crooked as hell. And you can not only win elections over that and not only win future elections, but you'll win every debate because the public is really angry about it.
Again, the president there casting doubt on the legitimate results of the 2020 election. At least 5 people died during and immediately after the January 6th attack. One of them, a Capitol Police officer. Sal Kapoor is live for us on Capitol Hill here. A real divide in the way 5 years later, at the moment, January 7th, you know as well as I do, having covered this, having been in Washington, there was unanimity, near unanimity in condemning what had happened. That has changed 5 years later.
Yeah, it absolutely has, Hallie. I think at this moment, the struggle to define that event is mostly between the White House and Democrats. Republicans, most of whom were here on that day, unlike President Trump, they remember what happened. They don't accept the president's alternate timeline and alternate history, but they also aren't really speaking up because they don't want to get on his bad side here. There was a new White House website that was launched today that turned some heads on Capitol Hill, which presents then Speaker Pelosi and the 9 members of the January 6th Select Committee as villains, called the January 6th marchers patriots, and accused Capitol Police of deliberately escalating tensions. In other words, blaming Capitol Police in part for the violence on January 6th when they were trying to defend this building. Now, for a flavor of the Republican response, take a look at John Thune, the Senate Majority Leader, top Republican in the chamber, how he reacted to this.
I haven't seen what they put on their website, but the Capitol Police do a great job around here. And again, I would just say, with respect to, we all here support 100% Capitol Police and the job that they do around here.
Now, a couple of Republicans were a little bit more direct about this, Hallie. That includes Senator Susan Collins, a Republican of Maine, told a group of us reporters that she disagrees with what the White House is saying completely, that she remembers the rioters in this building chanting "Hang Mike Pence" and seeing him being rushed out for his own safety. She called the Capitol Police heroic. In addition, Senator Tom Tillis, a Republican from North Carolina who is retiring, told her colleague Brennan Leach he also disagrees, noted among other things that in the aftermath of January 6th, a police officer died.
And it sounds like when we look at some of the video of this, call it a march or whatever with Enrique Tarrio, others on the ellipse, it sounds like, Sahel, based on many accounts, it kind of petered out towards the end. Like, how big of a deal was it? It doesn't sound like it really gained, critical mass.
Well, it's a difference between how, the folks who are speaking up are talking about it. I think Democrats are overwhelmingly calling this a dark day, a somber day, a violent day that happened 5 years ago today, an attempt to derail America's system of government, as they call it, and install Trump as an illegitimate leader of the country, which, of course, failed. Among Republicans, as I mentioned, it's mostly silence. But there is one notable nugget, a fact here. The Speaker, Mike Johnson, indicated that he does not intend to honor a law that was passed several years ago to honor the police officers that defended this building on January 6th. This was supposed to happen by March 2023. It still hasn't happened. And take a look at this, a spokesperson for Speaker Johnson telling me, quote, "As written, the statute authorizing this plaque is not implementable, and proposed alternatives devised by Democrat House staff, not members, also do not comply with the statute," end quote. So it looks like this plaque will not get hung, at least on Speaker Johnson's watch, Hallie.
Sahel Kapoor, thank you very much for that, live for us at the Capitol.